Welcome to Palma de Mallorca.
Woohoo!
Yes, we're excited. Explorer of the Seas docked here today and we're off to the races.
Quite the adventure, so take a look.
Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. On our channel, we make videos about cruise ships, trips, and tips. Today, we're showing you a trip.
I think we were very excited because this is a port that I haven't seen a lot of ships go to. So when this showed up, I didn't know much about it. So we thought, let's take an excursion so we could really get a lay of the city and the land. And this is in fact called the City of Palma, a small group excursion.
Yeah, which is nice because sometimes you go on these excursions and you get on this great big bus with 50 people. So having a nice small group, I think there were less than 20 of us maybe there. It was perfect.
Yes. And the bus trip was really interesting. We passed a lot of sites such as the lighthouse, people exercising, and it was all along the coast.
So the first stop was here at there's a castle and a Cathedral of Santa Maria. And so first he showed us around the property.
Mm-hmm. And as we walked around, we stopped at some statues and then we hit these royal gardens.
Gorgeous gardens. Beautiful trees and plantings and water features. I guess this was what people did. They had beautiful gardens and courtyards.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was crowded, as you can see, but there was enough space to really just wander around and get a feel for all those different elements that you talked about.
Great photo spots too.
Yes, a lot of Instagram photos being taken all around this area.
Yeah.
There you go, you can see a couple right there. Now our first stop as we were moving into the city was this old Arab fort that was taken over by the royal family. So this is like the Royal Grand Palace.
Yeah, so our tour guide Andres had explained to us there were three basic eras here in this area, or in Spain in general, I guess. So the three different eras were the Roman era, the Arab era or Muslim era, and then the Christian era. So you can see the construction is different for each of them too.
Yes. And in this case, you have that Arab fortress turned palace right next to this amazing cathedral, and there's just a city street between it. Now, the Royal Palace is open as a museum, and I'm not quite sure exactly, it's sometimes open, sometimes not, to get into the cathedral, and they were holding mass, so I don't believe it was open to the public, but we could walk around and also look into the building, and it was truly an amazing cathedral. Yeah, that entrance was spectacular, and then you can see when we looked in, a little bit of the inside, which seemed to be as spectacular as the outside.
Mm-hmm. So ornate.
Mm-hmm.
And was this designed by Gaudi?
It
Anthony Gaudi? Yeah.
Now, we didn't really fully know what that meant until we went to Barcelona, but he's a spectacular architect. So again, I didn't really know what was going to be happening throughout the day, so this was amazing. And then we turn around and walk through the old streets of Palma,
Yeah.
and it was fantastic.
Yeah, so this is the old town section, he said. And you can see different construction of materials for the different eras, and it was just spectacular. We'll try to point that out through the footage, but it was quite something to be walking down these narrow streets with the understanding that for centuries, like BC, people have been walking these streets.
And it's vibrant right now because you have real apartments, and you could look in to see some of the, what they call the patio area, which is now a half garage, half relaxation area, and also shops. So it is as vibrant now as it was in different eras.
Yeah, it was kind of cool to look inside
I know.
people's gates. Here's one of those areas where you can see different kinds of construction used. The bigger blocks were sort of the Roman era, and then the smaller ones more the Arab era.
So we came out of these windy streets into what I would still say is an old area, but it's not the old town area. And here's one of the older churches. Again, beautiful architecture all around. And I think we had some free time now.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we do with free time? Find some food.
Try to find some
Yes.
food. Yeah, so this excursion by through Royal Caribbean did not include food in it, but we had free time where we could go purchase some. So we were looking for something. We ended up not buying anything from the pastry shop / bakery, but we found something better,
We found some gelato.
which was delicious.
It was absolutely delicious. And where else can you eat it underneath an olive tree that was over 1,000 years old? Very special.
Yeah, never sat under an olive tree at all, actually.
So I don't know if you can see the slight difference of the architecture, but this is just the regular streets of Palma. And again, just the architecture is amazing if you look at these buildings.
There were so many buildings that caught our eye as just being so unusual and so beautiful. That, I mean, I think we have hours and hours of footage.
Yes. And again, the shops were just amazing. If you look at the spices, the garlic there, and then next to these really, I think, upscale clothing stores, what a mix.
Yeah.
Now we're venturing again on our free time to this major plaza, which is the main square. I think it's called Plaza Major or Major Square. And again, there are goods being sold by vendors and stores around and eateries.
Yeah. I just thought this one was so beautiful with all the flowers.
Yeah, eateries galore.
Yes. You had a feeling walking through here that it's like alive and vibrant.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we did make it back to our meeting place, and our guide took us back through more streets, but we were heading back to the bus.
So our second stop was Bellver Castle. And I think he said James II had this built.
Yeah, again, I think around the 1300s. Of course, I think it took decades, if not a century, to finalize it, but it was truly spectacular on overlooking the city.
Oh, amazing views. It was wild. Now, I will tell you that Andres did say, make sure you keep your stuff controlled on your person because pickpocketers are galore here in this area. He said the tour that he had taken, the group he had taken the previous day, were victims of theft. So
be careful. Okay, as you're looking at the architecture here, something I learned, that big cylinder part of the castle that's only connected by a small little bridge is on purpose. So when under attack, the king or the royalty go there and they'll even blow up the bridge or knock the bridge down, so they're just stuck in that cylinder that nobody can get to. Who knew?
And there were tunnels underground to the city so they could escape. They thought of everything.
I was going to say, if you got the money, you think of these things. But the main castle was just amazing to walk in, and it almost felt Roman, even though it was not a Roman times. Just, by that circular nature and the arches.
Now, this castle, Bellver Castle, has multiple rooms where there's basically little museums set up, exhibits. So you could literally we could have spent an entire half day just here.
Yes. I think we're going through the first floor of the museum, and that was like the history of the castle. And then you'll see later on when we're going through other rooms, like I think on the second floor, it's more that Roman era, but it was just all intertwined.
Yeah. And this is at the very top, which if you take children there, make sure you hold on to them, because there were very little, if any, like safety precautions really. So, yeah.
Our ship, next to another ship, but I think you can tell which one is Explorer of the Seas. I always love when we can see our ship, and this was one of the better views.
Want to make sure we weren't left behind.
That's right.
Yeah, look at the detail. These carvings, statues were amazing. And these doors were spectacular. I don't even know how many pictures of doors I ended up taking on my phone.
Well, we're going to take one more look of this architecture of this castle, and that really concluded our tour. And it was a great day and gave us a layout. So if we go back, or when we go back, we may go out on our own.
Yeah. We always like to do a tour the first time we're in a new place. And then we've talked to a lot of people actually that love Mallorca. So we were glad we got a little bit of a taste of what all the hype was about. So yeah.
Yes, and there's a lot more outside of Palma. Just look at the views here as we sailed away. Spectacular day, spectacular excursion. Glad you could join us.
If you have any questions, let us know. Thanks for watching.
Take care.